Although you can't see it all, this is my mini Talon, which I've enjoyed flying so much. It flies absolutely fantastically. Now, if you watched my build videos, you'll see that the first thing is the motor, which was way too overkill. It was it's a 28, 26 or something like that. Anyway, it's just not needed to be that big. The ESC, which is this here, is 100 amp. The wiring and everything else, it was all just way too overkill. And the weight of it, which I'll put there, that's without the battery, without the camera. So what I've decided to do, the other thing as well, the Easy UHF that I'm using is in the wing, and a lot of people have said, I don't know why you put it in the wing, because it's just it affects the balance, you know, it's not the lateral balance. And also with that and these antennas that I got from Simon, you know, I can't fault the bloody things, but having it out on the wing causes a lot of drag. So I've noticed that when you open the throttle, it actually pulls to the left. I didn't think that thing would affect it, but it does. So what I've decided to do is, to make the lateral balance perfect as well, is put GPS there, have the VTX on the front, blah blah blah, and have the immersion RC somewhere in here, I don't know yet. Because people have said, because the body is near enough the same length as the wingspan, it's pointless actually having them on the wings. So I'll show you what I've got. I've got a new one. Because they're on such special offer from Banggood EU, I think it was, and I also used some of my points on it. It only cost me, I think it was about 20 quid or something stupid. So this come from EU, like I say. It's totally unmarked. Not like the other one, which was got quite a few dints all over it. This one hasn't got any at all. So now the other, hang on a sec, I'll get the other one. The other thing was, I don't need that. I'm going to make a smaller one, a simpler one, and also the front wheel I didn't need. So I've got a few things that I've actually 3D printed. This is the cradle for the Vector, which I didn't design this cradle, but so that goes there, that goes there, these go on there like that, and then this thing, I designed this bit because the other one was just too big, it was just unneeded. And then that goes there like that. Now all this is all 10% infill, and it's strong enough. It doesn't need to be mega strong, you know, it's not. I chopped the pieces out of the middle here because they're just not needed for structural strength. So, and also I've chopped these pieces out of here. So it's actually saved, I think it's 75%. So it's only 25% of the original weight now. So I've got those. I've also got these, which I designed myself, these servo horns, which still need trimming up a bit, which I'm going to use all round, because they've got the plates on the back, like that. You know what I mean? So that's that. And I think that's it. Now I'm going to be using this. I think this is the original one. No, this is actually which the Bell Offer 22. Excuse me. This is the Bell Offer 22 16 900 kV, which I'm not using this one. I am using a 22 16 1100 kV on it, and also I'm going to be using a Turnigy Plush 60 amp, I think this one is, instead of the 100 amp, because that was way too overkill, and also it was probably double the weight of this thing. Although this is still overkill, I prefer to have a bit of leeway rather than the bloody thing burning up, because it is actually inside and the air circulation isn't that brilliant. So I'm going to be using that. So I'm going to start building now. The first thing with these things, I noticed it with my last one, the spar that goes along the length of the fuselage. It wasn't actually glued in very well at all. There's glue along the back edge and there's glue all the way up to the front there, and then there was nothing at all, and it was the same with this one. So what I'll do is I'll take them out, clean it up and re-glue it, because they don't rough these things up. They don't rough them up at all, so you know, for it to take is going to be tough. Believe it or not, they actually come out quite easily. To get them out, all you do is on the front edge there, you just get some pliers in there, because it's never glued in that edge. So you just get some pliers and you just start pulling it out, and it comes out quite easily. And then I clean the old glue off with, you just start stripping it, you know, from top to bottom, end to end, whatever, and then you get some isopropyl alcohol, and then it comes off quite easily. Now the glue that I'm using this time is this stuff, Bob Smith Industries in the UK. So get some of that, because it's fantastic stuff, absolutely fantastic stuff. I don't know what's in it. I think it's glue and sticky stuff. So get some of that. It's brilliant stuff, really is. So all I'm going to do is rough this spar up, put a bead of it all the way down, nice generous bead, press that in and let it set. Because this thing actually, I think it's about 80% evaporative or something like that, so there's only 20% adhesive in it. But yeah, it's foam safe, brilliant stuff. So I'm going to do these two, and then I'm going to come back. I've glued that spar in, and as you can see, there's a lot more glue on it now, and it's held in there perfectly. Incidentally, when I took this out, I noticed that there's actually quite a thin bead of glue all the way down, which was left behind, which means that this spar itself hadn't actually glued to the glue itself. So yeah, it's just something to be aware of. Now the next thing I'm going to do is glue these side rails in. I've been asked a question a couple of times now of, do I need them? No, you don't. Definitely not. The wooden, the plywood things that you get with the kit, they're perfectly fine, but I do them because I've got a 3D printer and I'll get bored. So with this, and also with the when you put the plywood ones in, it's best to just do a dry fit. If you put it in place like that, and then you put your spar through, just to make sure that everything lines up perfectly. In fact, what I think I might do is glue these two in place and then actually hold them in place, put the two halves together and then wait for the glue to go off, because I've noticed that they're not perfect, and I like perfect. I'm a perfectionist. You see how they're not perfectly parallel? I don't know if you can, hang on, like that. So they're not perfectly parallel, which means that one of them is, you know, that one's either that way or that one's either that way, I don't know. So what I'm going to do is put them in place, then I'm going to put the two halves together, and I'm going to put the spars straight through it, just to make damn sure that everything's squared up. And then that'll be those two put into place. Like that. I've got these pieces, as you know. Now I've roughed them up. You don't want any shiny on this at all. They're completely roughed up, top, bottom, sides, absolutely everywhere. And also I've wiped in here with some isopropyl alcohol to get rid of the release agent that's on there, because obviously these things are moulded and they have to put release agent so as they can get them out. So then that's going to go in there, and I'm going to glue it like I say. Now if anyone wants to know why I'm building another one, I was so impressed with these things. I built one just as a, see if I like it, I suppose. And I do. I've flown this, well, my other one, I've flown it so much, I'll f off. You're not going to be able to see it very well, but I've glued the side pieces in and I've put the spars in place, sorry, like that, just to hold it together. Well, not to hold it together, to make sure it's all square. So that's done, and then I'm going to leave that for about half an hour just to let it set, and then I'll take it apart again. Now, if anyone's wondering why I'm building another one, I bought this thing, my original one, I bought it to see if I like it, and I made it out of bits that I had. Now, I love it. I absolutely love the thing. It's the best thing I've flown, and I'm really addicted to flying it. So I decided to buy another one and build it properly, with all the proper parts, make sure it's all 100%. I mean, this one's much better than the other one. The quality is far better. It all fits together. There's no dints or marks or anything anywhere on it, so that's the reason why I'm building another one. And the same with the other one, I'm going to glue the wings on because it's so easily transportable, so there's just no point taking the wings off because it fits in the car easily. So I'm going to leave that for about half an hour, and then I can take all this thing off and start building again. Because these things are moulded, obviously, when they release the mould, you find pieces that haven't actually come off properly. So this thing actually is raised like that, and there's also one there which is raised, and there's also, I think, yeah, there's one on the back as well which is raised. So what I do is just get a knife and carefully slice along it. I'm not going to do it on camera because I've got glue on my fingers. I'm not going to do it on camera because I'll take my fingers off otherwise, so yeah, slice those off to make sure you've got a perfect mating surface. And on the other side as well, you'll probably find that there's a couple, like that one's got a slightly raised, so I'll cut that one down as well. And that one, there's the other one, that one's alright. So yeah, just slice across them just to make sure it's completely gone, and any other little bumps that you can feel that shouldn't be there, get rid of them, they're bad. I found this motor mount on Thingiverse. I've printed every single motor mount, tried every one of them, and this one is by far the best. The one I had before was completely overkill with the side rails on it and everything. And anyway, so this is the motor I'm going to use, which is a 2216 1100 kV, and I'm going to run it on 4S with a 9x5 prop, which is going to go on there obviously. Now this motor mount, it's got captive nuts on that side, so if you need to take the motor off, you just get it from the back, and so I'm going to glue that into place. I think I'll put that in place when I do the put the two halves together, just so as I can get it central. But yeah, that is the best motor mount I've found yet, and I'll put a link in the description so as you can download it and try it yourself. I'm using the same servos as I did on the last one, which is the HS82MGs. Now with these, first thing to do is take that thing off there, centralise the servo with the servo tester, and then that's going to go like that there. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to mount it like, no, maybe like that, don't know yet. Now what I do, and I've shown this times many, all you do is you line it up like that, you get your scalpel, and then you just go all the way around it, and then you do it in a cross hatch, and then you can pick the pieces out. Simple as that. So I'm going to mount that, and then I'm going to mount the that's not very free. Oh, they haven't cut all the way through it there. Anyway, so I'm also going to mount the horn, and I'll show you how I've done that. I mounted one of the servos, which is on the right hand wing, which is now nice and flush, sort of, nearly, and it's in line with the control horn arm thing, whatever. Now these are the ones that I actually did. I've done these for the FX61. I only need 2 bolts, just there's no need to use any more. Like that. Now the way to get these in, if you screw, hang on, I'll get one. To get these horns in the right orientation, the right, or what do you call it now? To get them straight. There you go. So you've got this bit on the back, and you've got this thing obviously on the bottom. Now to get them in line, so as that will go on square, you know what I mean? Because sometimes when you actually put them in, it goes all over the bloody place. So the way I do it is, I've got to try and get the screws, put the screws in like that, and make sure are they square? Make sure the screws are actually square, like that. Yeah, which they are. So leave a few mil on there like that, and get the horn or the control thing, arm, linkage, whatever, and line it up, and then just poke it in like that. Then what you have to do is screw it in. I don't normally do this on camera because it's not very easy to do. So you screw that through until the screws come out the other side. Like that. A bit more. Like that. And then you get the backing piece, and you screw that on. It's not perfectly square, but it's squarer than you would normally get it. Actually, that's, make sure that your control horn is actually in line. So that's squared that up now. Anyway, what you do is you pull it tight, not too tight, just so as it leaves an indent when you actually undo the screws. So then that falls off, you take that off, and you're left then with an indent. So what I do now is cut a very shallow hole in there, and then cut the cross ash, and then just pull pieces out, which I'll do and I'll show you. So hopefully you can see what I've done is I've cut slots, cut a little recess for that to actually sit in. I don't want it to go all the way in at the minute because I'm going to pull that in from the other side. So now I've still got to glue it in, so I'll have to take this off again. That'll go straight through there, and then you'll pull it tight, or ish, until they're both flush. But obviously glue it in first, and then when you've tightened it up, you can just straighten it up so it's in line with the servo horn, like that. So that's how you put the those top plates in, so they're square. And everything else goes in there like that. Simple bloody job easily goes in there.